That's what we want right here. Batman, Night of the Monster Men. I read this graphic novel during the month of July, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, in this, what happens is, of course, the majority of it takes place in Gotham City, obviously. But it's during a time when there's this like super storm coming, like this huge hurricane, or possibly even more than one hurricane that's headed towards Gotham. And at the same time, Dr. Hugo Strange just has decided to unleash this group of monsters. These actually the monsters that he pretty much genetically engineered with the help of 4 cadavers, 4 dead bodies, and I mean somehow he was able to manipulate their DNA or something like that, combine their human tissue with some weird chemical, and eventually it's explained towards the end. But even then it's like, I mean, it doesn't get like really scientific or anything. It's just, this is Batman, along with the help of Alfred and some other people. Which does another thing too. There's characters in this that I had never heard of before. Like there's someone called Spoiler. There's another character by the name of Gotham Girl, but she seems like pretty much like a different version of Supergirl or Wonder Woman or something along those lines. And I never heard of her before, so, but she actually turned out to be a pretty cool character. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you've heard of Gotham Girl before too. So there's definitely a new character that I just found out about by reading this graphic novel. So anyways, as the story progresses, Batman, along with a couple of Batwoman, Nightwing, and others too, like Gotham Girl, there's another guy that goes by the name Spoiler. So what they do is they decide to evacuate, I would say pretty much the entire population of Gotham, and they decide to evacuate them because of the fact that these monster men they eventually start wreaking havoc throughout the city. And that coupled with the fact that this huge hurricane is headed towards Gotham and it's going to cause mass flooding, and so they evacuate most of the population of Gotham somewhere out towards where there's some caves or something like that, some system of caves, and because I guess the caves are supposed to be like far enough away from the coast or something. So I don't know, it's another thing that's not really entirely explained, but hey, it's fiction, so it's there's something interesting happens when they get out to the caves, and there's this like mold that's covered in the caves, and it starts dripping onto people, and this mold, it ends up bringing out the worst in people. It makes people like give in to their fears and their hostilities and just negativity in general, and it takes a while, but eventually I want to say it's there's one of the other characters, Spoiler or someone, they figure out how to deal with this mold, and they have to do it by essentially like making it so hot that the mold can't survive. And so I guess mold needs a certain amount of moisture in order to continue to live and pretty much thrive and so on. And then, of course, at the same time, and then, you know, in the actual city area, that's where Batman and Batwoman and Nightwing, they're taking on these monsters, and these monsters they're pretty menacing. They're not just, you know, I mean, the way they're drawn in this they're pretty grotesque, and, you know, it's like the artists, I don't know, whoever drew them, let's see, well, because that was a team, so it was Steve Orlando, Tom King, Tim Seeley, James Tinian IV, Riley, Rossmo, Andy McDonald, Raj Antonio, I don't know. But whoever did the majority of the artwork for this, I mean, they really went all out and, like, had no problem, you know, or I guess they got the go-ahead, obviously, to make the monsters as gruesome and grotesque as possible. And there's even, like, one scene, like, later towards the end, when after they defeat all the monsters and the pieces that are left over eventually end up converging together and just mixing together, and in order to create yet another, like, I guess, final, even more grotesque creature. And it was pretty interesting. I will say, like, some of the dialogue in this, I kind of felt like I felt like this was one of those stories I really didn't need, like, as much dialogue as it has, because it's pretty much like when it starts, I mean, the action kicks in right away. You know, it's just, which I liked. I definitely liked that, because, you know, it wasn't like there was no build up really. It was just kind of like, okay, this is gonna happen, and we gotta fight these monsters, and then also take care of the citizens of Gotham, make sure the hurricane doesn't do too much damage, and, you know, which again was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it was just me, like, I kind of felt like it didn't really need too much dialogue, and because, I mean, there's like a lot of different parts where Batman he's constantly conversing with Alfred, who's in the Batcave, and Alfred has help too. Alfred's getting help from some other characters, and in a way, I kind of felt like if, I don't know, the writers, they wanted to inject a little more science stuff into the story, but they ultimately didn't. It was just kind of like, I don't know, that's how it came off, where, like, they wanted to make it, you know, as far as the science aspect of the story is concerned, like, they wanted to make it as believable as possible. So, you know, I don't know, for me, when it comes to things like this, I really don't care if it's believable or not. It's because it's supposed to be fiction, you know, fantasy and all that. So, you know, yeah, overall, I would give this 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely 4 out of 5. And I would have given it 5 stars, but there's, like, really there's no twist to the story. There's no big climactic kind of ending. It's just, you know, it's just a lot of action. I mean, the action is good. I like, you know, again, the artwork, the way the monsters are illustrated, and then just seeing Batman, Batwoman, Nightwing, and the others take on these monsters, and pretty interesting. So, and so, yeah, that's why I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was definitely a pretty good read, I would say. I got through it pretty quickly, so, you know, that's always a plus, I think. So yeah, that'll do it for my review of Batman, Night of the Monster Men. I recommend reading this if you're a DC Comics fan like me, if you're a Batman fan, or even if you're just like into horror stuff and like, you know, anything that has to do with grotesque monsters or creatures and all that. So yeah, I'll do it. Once again, I got 4 out of 5 stars. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.